In the following episode of Urban Legends, we've changed some names to protect the identity of those involved. The world is full of urban legends, remarkable stories that spread like viruses around the planet, mutating and evolving until no one can remember which are true and which are urban legends. In this episode called Bad Calls, you'll see 3 incredible stories about the calamities that occur when people make very bad decisions. First up, this woman's decision to take the elevator turns out to be a very big mistake. Then this man tries to have his cigar and smoke it too, but his plan backfires badly. And finally, this woman decides to become a secret agent and finds out why it's called going undercover. Watch all 3 stories and decide which ones are true and which ones are false. Find out if you guessed right at the end of the show. Our first tale is a story we like to call Out of Order. At first, Frankfurt, Germany seems like a charming European city, full of history, culture, and class. But every year, over 50 people go missing with no explanation. And one case was so bizarre, even the police couldn't believe it. Meet André Stürmeit.
Ich bin Polizeisprecher.
I am the communications officer for the Frankfurt police. One of my jobs is to notify the public when someone goes missing.
In all his time on the force, André has never worked on a case stranger than this one.
Mama?
On April 16th, 2008, Ulla Winkler arrives at her elderly mother's house.
Mama?
Wir bekamen morgens um 6:30
In the morning, she was supposed to meet her mother at the city market, but she didn't show up.
Mama?
Ulla notices that dishes have been left unwashed. That's not like her mother.
Mama?
She was filled with dread when she realized her mother wasn't there.
Mama?
2 days earlier, in an office building downtown, Ulla's mother Eva has a meeting with a charitable organization, but she's lost in a part of the building that's being renovated. She decides to try a different floor. Eva steps into the dark elevator, but the car is not there.
Mrs. Winkler was seriously injured. She had fallen from the 3rd floor. It was so dark, she didn't see the empty elevator shaft.
2 days later, Ulla is starting to panic as she tries to trace her missing mother.
She calls her friends and relatives, but no one knew where Mrs. Winkler was.
Yeah, bye.
For Eva, time is running out. If she's not rescued soon, she'll die at the bottom of the elevator shaft. 3 stories above her, real estate developer Jens Heinrich is looking over the building. He thinks it might have potential.
He went through the elevator door without looking inside.
Okay.
But he makes the same mistake as Eva and lands right on top of the stricken woman. Luckily for him, her body cushions his fall.
Mr. Heinrich tried to revive Mrs. Winkler, but her injuries were so serious she remained unconscious.
Jens tries to call for help, but there's no cell reception in the elevator shaft. His only way out is to clamber 25 feet back up the shaft. It's dangerous climbing, especially with Jen's broken ribs.
The man was able to climb using various bars in the shaft.
Finally, he reaches an open door.
Then he was able to call the emergency number, and they dispatched the paramedics.
When help arrives, Jens tells them what happened. Amazed, they send a rescue team to the bottom of the shaft. They're surprised to find Eva is alive, but in critical condition.
Die Frau war so schwer
The
verletzt,
emergency doctor informed us that Mrs. Winkler lived because she was rescued just in
Ausgehen
time.
müssen, wäre sie noch.
So I have to let you go.
Although the impact of Jen's falling on Eva almost killed her, ironically, it also proved to be her salvation. When Eva gets to the hospital, they let Ulla know she's going to be okay.
Thank you.
Now, you must take the plunge and decide if this free-fall fable is true or false. Find out at the end of the show. But first, check out this mini-myth. Mini-myth number 2888. Gobble Gobble. In 1985, a Wisconsin farmer notices a strange phenomenon. Some of his flock of seemingly healthy turkeys would die during heavy rainstorms without any explanation. So the farmer goes undercover to see what happened to his turkeys when it rained. He discovers that at the first sign of a shower, the turkeys would always look up at the sky to see where the water was coming from. Some turkeys would look up too long and their open mouths would collect the rainwater, causing them to drown. So does this really happen? Or is this story just a turkey? Is it true or false? It's false. Turkeys aren't smart enough to be curious about rain, but they are a classic feature of many urban legends, but they're usually half-baked. On Urban Legends, we show you 3 astonishing stories. You must decide which ones are jaw-droppingly genuine and which ones are far-fetched fairy tales. So far, you've seen the tale of Eva Winkler, the woman who fell down an elevator shaft and was only saved from certain death when someone else fell on top of her. But is the story true? Find out at the end of the show. Now it's time for our second story. It's called Up in Smoke. Boston, Massachusetts is steeped in strange events. From tea parties to massacres, and at one time even a baseball curse. Now there's another one to add to the list, and it's all thanks to this guy. Meet Christopher Mott.
I sell insurance. We provide peace of mind. People pay us and we insure their goods, collectibles.
But Chris got his fingers burnt when he insured one conniving client. On July 23, 1996, Chris arrives at the house of big shot client Teddy Betserov. Teddy has an unusual insurance request.
It's not unusual for him to have large policies, large riders, many art objects, both for pleasure and some as investment pieces.
But Teddy's big passion is cigars, and he smokes only the finest. He's recently acquired a rare brand from Cuba that cost $50,000 a box.
He wanted specifically for the cigars to be insured against fire, which I have to say set some alarm bells off, being that that's what you do with cigars, you smoke them. So with some reservations, I did write a new rider for his policy insuring the cigars against fire damage and loss.
Teddy is very happy with the new policy. He spotted a way of enjoying his expensive cigars without seeing his investment go up in smoke.
What's going on here, everybody? Let's get
Ever the show-off, Teddy throws an expensive cigar party, hoping to impress some potential new clients.
as good as they get, people. I think so, yeah. Please, have a seat.
The day after the party, Teddy has some news for Chris.
Remember the cigars that you just recently insured for me in the amount of $50,000? They were lost in a fire just last night.
The timing makes Chris instantly suspicious.
Best way to collect.
I asked him if there had been any other items damaged or destroyed in this fire, and he said no. It was only the cigars.
Well, obviously the intent here is if they were burned in a house fire.
Well, the home's fine. It's the cigars are gone. They were gone by fire, as outlined in that policy.
Well, yes, but
He did point out the specificity of the language of the rider, which did state that if the cigars were destroyed in a fire, they were insured to the amount of $50,000.
It says
we're
fire.
not doing this.
But when Chris refuses to pay out, Teddy threatens legal action.
We'll be fixed this. We'll see you in court.
Teddy sues the insurance company for breach of contract, and representing himself, he gets his day in court.
Our lawyer thought we had a valid argument that the rider was made for the express purpose of defrauding the company.
They were lost due to fire.
After hearing both sides of the story, the judge delivers his verdict, but it's not good news for Chris.
And I find that the insurance company did in fact insure his property in the amount of $50,000. They also...
The facts remained that under the law, the policy was enforceable. So we were on the hook, as it were, for $50,000 for Mr. Betserov's cigars, which he had smoked.
It's okay, go to plan B.
Chris and his lawyer show Teddy that they can play dirty too.
She had a police officer waiting outside the courtroom.
Officer, arrest this guy.
The cop arrests Teddy for arson.
Mr. Betserov.
He had deliberately set a fire, which consumed the cigars. Under the letter of the law, he had committed arson in smoking the cigars.
take him.
That's unbelievable.
What goes around comes around, as they say.
So is this tale of tobacco trickery true, or are we just blowing smoke? Find out at the end of the show. But first, take a look at this mini-myth. Mini-myth number 822. Doggy in the window. In 1969, student Graham Marshall is invited to the home of his eminent professor. Anxious to make a good impression, he arrives for brunch in his best suit, nervously watching his manners. During the meal, he sees his fly is undone, with the prof's daughter on one side and his wife on the other. He can't possibly do it up, so he points to the window to create a diversion. "My, would you look at that," he exclaims, and zips up while they're looking away. He looks up to see the whole family staring out the window in shock. Graham follows their gaze and sees two dogs mating on the front lawn. So is this furry faux pas true, or is it just a canine con? Is it true or false? It's false. Other versions have the unfortunate student zipping the tablecloth into his trousers. On Urban Legends, we show you 3 staggering stories. Your task is to figure out which are true and which are false. So far, you've seen the tale of Eva Winkler, the old lady who'd fallen down an elevator shaft and was only rescued when someone else fell down the same shaft on top of her. And the story of Teddy Betserov, the con artist who smoked his luxury cigars and then got arrested for arson when he tried to claim them on his insurance. But does either of these stories ring true? We'll let you know at the end of the show. Our third and final story is called Agent Provocateur. There's lots of nice places to visit in Austin, Texas, though the infamous local penitentiary is not one of them. But sometimes people find it hard to stay out of trouble. Meet Carmen Estes.
I'm a university student, and I'm first-generation American. First one ever in my family to go to university.
Carmen had one experience at college that she'd remember for all the wrong reasons. On November 17, 2007, Carmen is heading to her criminology lecture at the University of Texas. There are rumors that the government is recruiting students from her class.
Excuse me, miss.
Sorry.
My name's Agent John Vinci with the Department of Homeland Security. Do you mind if I have a word?
Sorry, I'm late for class.
It'll just take a second, please.
He was there as part of the recruiting. They were recruiting some agents at my university.
Agent Vinci tells Carmen that he's headhunting talented female criminology majors to take part in Homeland Security's agent training program. Taken aback, Carmen declines the offer.
If you don't want to work for national security or your country, that's fine. You have a good day.
But Carmen can't stop feeling guilty about shirking her patriotic duty. The next day, she calls Agent Vinci back.
If it's for my country and I'm proud of my country, then I was prepared to do it.
It's a pretty good gig. Mind you, you have to get through that.
Carmen begins her secret agent apprenticeship the following day.
That's our target there.
Well, what do you want me to do?
Agent Vinci tells her to keep the target under close surveillance. She follows him upstairs into a hotel lobby. Then Carmen calls Agent Vinci for further instructions.
He said, keep with him, keep with him. So I followed him into the bar. I still wasn't sure about this guy. I mean, I still wasn't sure about what I was doing.
How you doing?
All right.
Good, yeah. Are you a student?
Mm-hmm.
Where year are you in?
I'm just finishing up second year right now.
Do you like it so far?
I love it, yeah. How about you?
I'm, work for the city.
Vinci called me and he said, you got the target? I said, yeah.
Agent Vinci instructs Carmen to use whatever means necessary to keep the target close to her.
It's imperative you do what you got to do to keep that man in sight.
Well, he's flirting with me, so what do I do?
Flirt back.
All right.
Okay, so I kept with him and did what I thought I had to do.
Why don't you, join me?
Carmen steels herself to carry out her patriotic duty. And after a few drinks, they head upstairs.
So we had sex, okay?
While the target sleeps, Carmen puts her new sleuthing skills into action. She pulls out the target's wallet and is horrified to find Agent Vinci's card.
The thing that caught my eye was that it said final and it had today's date on it. It really freaked me out. I really thought maybe Vinci's the target. Maybe this guy's going after him.
Carmen tries to warn Vinci of the danger, but he doesn't answer.
Oh, officer, wait, officer.
She convinces a passing cop to follow her to the target's room.
They're gonna kill him or
But this isn't in Vinci's game plan.
This is the guy I was telling you about. This is the spy that's trying to set us up.
No, I'm not a spy. It's all just a misunderstanding.
Not a spy?
No,
Just a
it's
misunderstanding?
I had nothing. John,
Agent Vinci arrives in a panic.
Just tell him the truth. Tell him what's going on
I don't
here.
know. He picked the girl. I had nothing to do with this.
Explain this?
He made the cards, and he came up with the idea.
What?
The pair confess the awful truth to Carmen.
I'm gonna go up to her. We'll be at the university. I'll just grab some dumb girl that doesn't look like she's very bright. I've been watching you. Why don't you come
This guy, the Mark, and Agent Vinci were actually in cahoots together, and they've been going around town and doing this to other girls. Some sick, twisted spy sex fantasy or something.
Okay, so it's a prank. We all had a good time.
Oh, it's just a prank?
It's a laugh.
Oh yeah, fun for everyone.
Nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
No? Nobody got hurt, did they?
No.
Yeah? Who's hurting now?
The cop arrests both men for criminal sexual conduct.
It's embarrassing. I can't believe I felt for something like that.
So is this story of espionage exploitation true? or do you spy a lie? You don't have to wait much longer to find out. But first, check out this mini-myth. Mini-myth number 93. In a flap. Luxembourg local Charlie Stoffel steps out of his house one morning in 1996 to pick up his newspaper and is accidentally locked out. Only wearing a bathrobe, he's desperate to get back inside. So he tries squeezing his way through the cat's flap. But Charlie, being a little stouter than his tabby, gets stuck. Passing teenagers see his predicament, but instead of helping, they remove his boxers and paint his derriere bright green, sticking a tulip in his behind. They post a sign announcing their street art installation. Passers-by admire their work for 2 hours until a neighbor finally frees him. Is this story true, or is it a bit of artistic license? It's false. But that didn't stop the story from appearing in a number of publications in 1996. Now it's time to reveal the truth about our 3 stories. First up, it's a tale of Teddy Betserov, the guy who smoked his expensive cigars, then asked his insurance company to pay out for fire damage, a move that saw him ultimately arrested for arson. But is it true or false?
My name is Christopher Mott. I'm not an insurance adjuster. This is a false story.
This legend has been around since the 1960s and got reignited in the 90s, thanks to the internet. The country music star Brad Paisley even penned the Cigar song about this myth. So what about the story of Eva Winkler, the lady who nearly died falling down an elevator shaft, only to be saved when someone else fell down on top of her and called for help? But how did the story strike you?
My name is
Andre Sturmite. I'm a spokesman for the Frankfurt police, and this is a true story.
This story hit the news wires in April 2008. Since the elevator car had been removed, the lobby doors were normally secured shut. The police are still looking for the person who unbarred the third-floor doors. Which leaves a story of Carmen Estes, the student who thought she was working as a spy, only to discover it was all a sleazy scam to sleep with unsuspecting women. But is it true or false?
I am not this character. This is a false story.
Though this story is a myth, in 1991, an Australian man posed as 5 different secret agents who recruited his ex-girlfriend to go on undercover assignments, missions that always involved the former lovers having sex. His scam lasted for 5 years until he was caught and jailed for 9 months. That's the end of our episode titled Bad Calls. Did you hone in on the honest truths, or did you fall for the fabricated fables? However you called it, you'll get another chance to separate fact from fiction in the next installment of Urban Legends.